Hello, it's Jay here again and welcome to another tutorial. Now, we're still working in the pause script. Now, I haven't changed anything in the script, but I have set the font differently due to a request from one of the subscribers, just to make it easier for you guys to be able to see in the video. So please let me know in the comments below if you prefer this or you want me to go back to the original font. And with that said, let's continue on. Now, in our last lesson, we fixed some of the audio bugs and we also added a play one shot audio clip for the no button. And in this video we're going to deal with the yes button. Now we're going to have to deal with this in a slightly different way, but I'll explain it as we go along as always. Now the first thing I'm going to do is create a new private bool. And let's call this underscore quit game completely. We'll close the line off into the comments, so we'll say defines if we are quitting, and we'll say completely again. We'll create the line break, so this one will be for when we hit the quit button and the yes or no comes up, and this will be used for when we actually click yes, we do want to quit. And I'll explain why when we get further along in the script. But for now, let's just make sure that that is set to false on startup. So we'll say quit game completely equals false, and straight into the comments. In fact, I'll just copy in the naming convention and we'll just say is false on startup. And one more thing we need to do, let's come here, audio clip for the no button. Let's just copy and paste that line and change it to yes. And we just need to change the comment here. And we'll just save it off there for the moment. So now we have those in place, the bool, the new audio clip, and set to false in the void start. Let's come down to the void on GUI, and it's these two blocks we're mainly going to be dealing with. So before we can actually make some changes to these two blocks, we're going to do very similar to what we did in the main menu. So I'm going to come here now. It's just before the very last closed bracket, and we'll create two new IEnumerator functions, and we'll call one returning to menu, open and close again, and we want another one, and let's just call it quitting, and we'll open and close brackets twice again. So with these now in place, let's come back and we'll begin to edit these two blocks. If quitting game equals true, or if return to menu equals true. So if quitting game equals true, we can get rid of this if we hit the yes button, where we quit the application, and let's just paste that in there. And we'll bring the comments back into line, and let's just use these lines again. We shouldn't need to, but let's just put them in just to be on the safe side for now. We'll make sure the timescale and audio listener are set back to their defaults. So in between here, we want to say yield return new. and we want to type wait 4 seconds, open and close brackets, close the line off, and I'll use a value of 3. So when we activate this block, we set these to default, we wait for 3 seconds, and then we quit the application. That will give us time for the audio clip we'll put in here to play before the application quits. So we'll put this line into the comments. We'll say wait for this. We'll just put an open and close brackets, and then we'll say number of seconds, and I'll just change this slightly. I'll say and then quit the application. In fact, let's not use a line break. So that's what's happening in this block. We set everything to default, we wait for 3 seconds, give us time for the yes button audio to play, and then we quit the application. So let's come to if quitting game equals true. So here we go, here's our yes button, and we'll come inside. So the first thing we can do is copy this line where we played the no button audio, and I'm sure you've guessed we're just going to change that to the yes button audio. We'll change the comment here, and we also need a few other lines. So we're going to say underscore paused equals false, and we'll put it into the comments, and I'll explain this in a moment. We'll say set paused to false, underscore quitting game completely, and that's going to be equal to true. We'll close the line off, straight into the comments, set quit game completely to true, and we'll come to the next line. Now the reason for these two, i.e. paused to be set to false and quit game completely to be equal to true, is because if we didn't have these in place, when we actually did a build for our game here, what would happen is that, especially with this line, is that the game would hang, it wouldn't quit, it would just freeze up. So these two help to eradicate that problem, and that's also along with making sure that these two are also set to default. And with that, a build should work absolutely fine. So we'll say start core routine, open and close brackets. We've done this a number of times, and then we'll just start this core routine. So we'll paste that in, and let's just say call quitting function, and we'll just save that for the moment. So that is done now for the yes block, and let's come to return to menu. So we can just copy the line where we play the audio clip, and we can paste that in there. Now with that said, we can go ahead, we should be able to delete those two lines. We'll cut the scene manager load scene line, and we'll paste that into returning to the menu function. And all we need is, let's copy this line where we start the core routine for quitting, and we'll paste that into the yes, the if button yes. And obviously we'll just change that from quitting to returning to menu. And we'll just alter the comments while we're at it. So let's come back down to these enumerators. We'll copy these 3 lines and we'll just paste it in. We'll bring the comment back into line. So now we'll set it to default when we actually begin this function. We'll wait for 3 seconds again to give chance for this audio clip to play, and then we'll load scene. And one last thing to do is we're going to come here right at the very top, and it must be before this line. And we just need to say if open brackets and the quit game completely double equal true. We'll close, we'll open and close into the comments. If quit game completely equals true, and I'll just fix that typo. And we can just copy this line where we draw the background texture. And you'll see how this will work in a moment, because once I've got rid of that empty line, we are now ready to test the script. So let's save that off. We'll downsize mono develop. Now please remember, we cannot quit the game inside the editor here. If you want to test to see if the quit functions work in your build, you will have to actually come here to build settings, make sure that they are both in this column, scenes in build, and actually build the game. But we can test everything out. And in fact, let's just stop that there. Let's make sure we've got a audio clip assigned. So we'll use this one. And let's hit play. So we'll pause the game. As you can see, no issues anymore with the cursor getting stuck. So main menu. And in fact, and as you can see, that's all working fine. Let's start the game again. And we'll pause and I'll test the quit. So and that's the most we can do. It's showing a black screen because now we're just showing the background in the void on GUI. As I said, it cannot quit the game completely inside the editor, but I encourage you, it will work. I have tested the script. It will work once you do a build, and I highly recommend doing that so you can see it working for yourselves. And I think we'll leave it here for this video. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope to see you next time, and until then, as always, bye for now.